Max, we are happy to be joined by the head coach of the 5-0 Sunnyvale squad.
Not too bad.
Is head coach John Settle. Coach, how are you?
Doing good this morning. How are you guys?
Doing excellent. Your Raiders are off to a hot start, 5-0, and it's capped most recently by a great win over a very good Grandview squad. Overall, when you look back at that win over Grandview, did that go about as you expected?
Well, it went as we hoped. They're awfully good, and they're well coached, and they have some really good athletes. And there was a certain way we thought we had to play that game to get it to come out in our favor, and our kids did a good job, and so we were pleased to get the win for sure.
You've come in. You're now in your fifth season there with the Raiders, and you've done a remarkable amount of winning for a program that has not necessarily been known for putting up gaudy win totals. 12-2 last year, now 5-0 to start this year. You're 43. Came into this year 43-12 as the head coach. What has been your message to instill into these kids kind of this winning attitude?
Well, I think number one, our kids are very easy to coach. There's a high expectation here throughout our district to excel, and the classroom and athletics is no different. So I have great parental support, and our kids are they're just good kids, and they really they play hard. They're the toughest aspect, I suppose, from a football perspective is to get them to a point where they're tough enough to play good, solid, sound defense and from on a down-to-down basis. And we still have that process sometimes, but our kids are they're just take off running and ask where we're going later kids, and that makes it simple to coach.
You've obviously got the great pleasure of being able to hand the ball every game to your outstanding quarterback, Caleb MacDill. He really hopped on our radar last year, and a guy who we've been watching very closely. As the guy who gets to see him every day, what sets Caleb apart as a quarterback?
Caleb does not get outworked by anybody. That's number one. He's a gym rat. He loves it, and he's his mom is my basketball coach, and Jim McDill is one of the top coaches at any level in the state of Texas, and so he got it naturally, and so he understands our offense. He understands what's going on. He makes it simple on me. We very rarely ever are ever in a bad play because he gets us out of it, and so it makes it simple on my end.
And your offense has been putting up gaudy numbers for the past 2 years, and now you've got really what seems like a real interesting core of seniors, whether it's Trace Sterling, your outstanding running back, or Cash Goodhart, the kind of standout wide receiver, not to mention Caleb. For you as the coach, how important is it to have those guys who are not only outstanding football players but also seniors to help lead what has in past years been a relatively young squad?
That's right. At our level, to have 21 seniors is it's a distinct advantage, and this group it's a real tight group. They really like each other, and they like playing football. And so, I knew as long as we stayed healthy, we'd have a chance to win. Most of the games we play, or at least we'd have a chance. We'd be in the games, and so far so good. Knock on wood. They're doing a good job of doing what seniors do and playing at a high level.
We're talking with John Settle, the head coach of the Sunnyvale Raiders here on DCTF Live. Get involved with the conversation at hashtag DCTF Live. And Coach, most folks know know the Sunnyvale squads for their offense, understandably so. Last year, I think you guys got a bit of a reputation of this high-scoring offense, and defense, well, maybe we'll figure it out a little bit later. This year, defense has been a distinct advantage for you guys, allowing just 17 points per game. What has changed? What's been the key to this kind of defensive improvement so far?
Well, I think a couple of things we've already touched on. One is, a maturation process. If you look back on about mid-season last year, if you take away the first 5 weeks last year, we played really well defensively, the remaining part of the year up until the Mineola game. Of course, Mineola had something to do with that too. But we just felt like coming into this, if we could if we could continue that that course of action and stay steady, and it's really the physicality part of playing defense. I mean, at some point when you're playing defense, you've got to have kids that want to play defense and they want to be physical, and so we're not there yet, but we're a lot better than we were, and we felt like just in the last game. We didn't play as steady defensively as we had been, but then again, Grandview had something to do with that too. They're awfully good.
And I want to ask you, we mentioned him a little bit earlier as your outstanding running back, but Trey Sterling also a key on your defense, a guy who really never comes off the field. Do you ever feel bad for making him – he just runs for a touchdown. He's got 14 of them on the year already, and then you say, well, great job, Trey. Get back out there and stop somebody.
I don't think you'd have it any other way. He's a fierce competitor. I had no idea that he was going to carry the ball 38 times the other night. The way the game played out and the way that Grandview decided to play it. They were trying to take my two receivers away, and so they left us to run the football. So I got a senior offensive line and a senior running back, and that's just the way it worked out. But Trey is a great player, man, and he's a ball hawk back there and at safety, and he just works hard. He's definitely our go-to guy.
And now you guys take a look forward. You guys are 2-0 in district play. Get past what I would say, from my perspective, was your biggest hurdle in Grandview. You get a great win there, but there's no rest. There's no rest really in this district. You've got a Kemp squad that's really improving. Yeah. You guys draw Madison in next week. Overall, when you take a look at your schedule and you take a look at your district, what stands out to you?
Well, we told our guys going into the Grandview game that number one, if you want to win a district championship, then you need to beat Grandview. I mean, that's the bottom line. Mm-hmm. We knew that, and at the same time, you win the game and your season's not made for sure. You lose the game and your season's not over. So, we still have 5 big games to play. They're all important. As you mentioned, Madison and Kemp are, they're both undefeated and playing awfully well, and so we know what's ahead of us, and all that game did Friday was give us a chance, and we're going into this, into the last 5 games, and we haven't lost yet, and that's a good thing. And so it gives us a chance to want to go football, and we just got to keep doing what we do and winning games.
Now, Coach, I'm going to do something I know is going to make you uncomfortable. I'm going to ask you to look ahead. You guys look like a team that's probably going to the playoffs. Nothing's set yet, but you guys look like a squad that's got playoff hopes. And last year, you guys make it all the way to a regional final, as you mentioned, and lose to a very good Mineola squad. When you look at Region 2, there in kind of in 3A Division 1, it seems like there's always those power programs. Mineola looks good again this year, even though they're off to a bit of a slow start. White Oak has had a great squad. Has there been any look ahead for you at how Region 2 shakes out, or how much attention do you pay to maybe districts 5, 7, and 8?
Well, you're gonna think I'm lying to you, but I honestly don't. I know those guys are good, and I'll worry about them a month from now, hopefully. And as you mentioned, Mineola, everybody thinks they're off to a slow start, but you know what? They've been playing Van and Kaufman and a lot of people that nobody else would even dream of scheduling. And so, they're not fooling me. I know they're good. Pottsboro's good. I know they got a quarterback transfer in there that's awfully good. And White Oak is good. So, once we get in the tournament, then I'll start worrying about those guys. And you know what? If we're sitting here at 8-0, maybe I'll start thinking about some of those guys. But right now, it's all about us and trying to get us better every day and just winning the next game.
Well, they're halfway to an unbeaten season, 5-0. The head coach of the Sunnyvale Raiders, Coach John Settle. Coach, appreciate your time. Congratulations on your hot start, and best of luck this week and in the future.
Thank you very much.